Riding north to the Gap of Rohan, you come upon a battle at the Fords of Isen. A small number of Rohirrim have taken a defensive position on the islet in the river's centre, where a large force of wild Dunlendings assails them. You must move swiftly lest the river run red with the blood of Rohan. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Line Unbroken, my progression-style playthrough series of The Lord of the Rings, the card game. I'm playing the Nightmare version of the first quest from the Voice of Isengard Deluxe Expansion, Nightmare Fords of Isen. So, Nightmare card does not change the setup at all, but forced after the players advance to a new quest stage, each player with fewer than 3 cards in his hand draws 3 cards. Basic setup. Add the islet to the staging area and attach Grima to that location. Each player searches the encounter deck for one different Dunland enemy and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. So, this is fine. Now let's go into the encounter deck. It did say different Dunland enemies, so that's a thing. So let's see. This guy is fairly weak and he surges. So, potentially a pretty decent one to grab. This guy has a high engagement cost, so I'm going to take him. Also, this dodges his when revealed effect. But yeah, the engagement cost is very relevant since this deck starts at 35 threat. I think there's one other enemy that would not immediately engage. Yeah, this guy, but that could be problematic. Because, yeah, while he's in the staging area, after the first player draws any number of cards, Dunland Assassin makes an immediate attack against him, so I would rather not do that. So yeah, and then I think I take a Savage Hillman, I avoid the surge that way, it's low threat. And shuffle, just to take a look at my opening hands here. This is great, right? The 2 Baragon detachments right away, King Under the Mountain right away. Errand Rider is nice to rearrange resources. Yeah, that's pretty good. Here I did take a mulligan, and I'm not sure if it was the right decision. The first hand had a Test of Will and an Elrond's Counsel in it, both of which would be pretty nice to start with. The Elrond's Counsel would get this deck down to 32 threat, so I'd have a bit more leeway with what enemies I have to engage. But I looked at some of the expensive allies that I'd drawn into my hand and figured maybe not. But then I've drawn more expensive allies into my hand with this one, so that's the thing. Daeron's Runes, obviously, is kind of fine in general, because while the Dunlendings punish you for card draw, most of the stuff in this quest is just punishing you for having a large hand size, and Daeron's Runes doesn't change the number of cards in your hand. It just allows you to change what they are. Because, like, if I played Daeron's Runes right now, obviously I can't do that because the game hasn't started, but if I were to play Daeron's Runes right now, then that takes me down to 5 cards because I played Daeron's Runes. I draw 2, taking me up to 7, and then I discard another one, taking me back down to 6. So I end up with the same number of cards in my hand that I had before I played Daeron's Runes. But it gives more flexibility. However, this deck is the first player, and so... Well, no, it doesn't matter that this deck is the first player. The point is this deck is a player. And so if I draw cards with this deck, then the Dunland Tribesman will get +1 threat. But, whatever, I have to deal with it. So, time 5, forced after the last time counter is removed from this stage, discard Grima from play. The players cannot advance unless the first player controls Grima. That's fine. Control N. Gather information. Okay, so Gather Information obviously is free, so I play that right away. The Ent Draft only costs 1, so I play that right away. The Envoy of Pelagia is cheap, so I play that right away. Actually, oh, nice. Raven-Winged Helm as well. So, the Envoy of Pelagia's ability adds a resource back to a Gondor or Noble hero's resource pool. So, both Elrond and Eowyn are nobles. Beregond is Gondor. I can't do either of these two, which it might be nice if I could, but I can't. In general, I might want to stack more resources on Eowyn in case I find an unexpected courage. But on the other hand, if I put a resource on Beregond, then I can immediately play another tactics card. So first off, I'm going to give him these 3 attachments for free because of his ability. That's very nice. Now, so this is the thing, since I got the resource from the Envoy of Pelagia, I had been thinking maybe I play the Errand Rider instead of King Under the Mountain, because then I could move a resource from the other leadership hero who didn't pay for the Errand Rider to Beregond to then play either the Honor Guard or the Garthon Archer. But now that I've got the extra resource from the Envoy, I can instead play King Under the Mountain right away. So I think I should do that. I'm not going to immediately use it because it will increase the number of cards in my hand. Although, note, King Under the Mountain allows you to look at the top 2 cards of your deck and add 1 to your hand. You do not draw a card. And I'll just put threat tokens on the Dunland Tribesmen, because of course both decks drew 1 card in the resource phase. And so now I can also play either the Honor Guard or the Archer. I think I'm going to go with the Archer. And so I'm probably not engaging this guy. So put the damage where it's more likely to be relevant this round. So the islet is 1 threat. What's the active location? Each Dunland enemy in play gets +1 threat, but that's not a problem right now. So 1, 3, 4 threat in the staging area. I will quest to gather information. Definitely questing 2, 5, 9, 10. And I mean, that could be enough, and I can hold back some more bodies for combat. I can potentially have this deck discard to Eowyn as well. I mean, with the enemies I have at the moment, I don't need all of this, but I could reveal more. Actually, it might work out, because Treebeard could kill the tribesman, Elrond could take the second defense, and then these two could... So yeah, I'm going with just this. So we're at 10. This deck has already discarded to Eowyn. Savage Hillman, Surge. Oh, right, yeah, while the engaged player has 3 or more cards in hand, Savage Hillman cannot take damage. Oh well. But doesn't get the +2 attack for 5 or more cards in hand. Fords of Isen. While it's in the staging area, players cannot gain resources from card effects. Forced after Fords of Isen becomes the active location. Each player with fewer than 5 cards in his hand draws cards until he has 5 in his hand. That's problematic. And Eastern Shore. While it's in the staging area, each player cannot play more than one event each round. Okay, so that's added 7 more threats to the staging area. Putting me up to 11 threat in the staging area. I'm going to use King Under the Mountain. This is the wrong deck. And find, okay, Secret Vigil and Wealth of Gondor. I mean, the Secret Vigil is not useful right now. But it could be useful in subsequent rounds. So I think I discard Wealth of Gondor, I keep the Secret Vigil, and I discard the Honor Guard to boost Eowyn. Putting me to 11 versus 11. It's okay. So let's travel to the Eastern Shore. Take away that restriction on playing events. At this point I'm going to play Daeron's Runes, because increasing the threat of the Dunland Tribesmen doesn't matter anymore. And let's discard... It's going to be one of the expensive allies that I discard. Ultimately, neither of them is really easier to play than the other, because Elrond can pay for allies of any sphere. I guess I'll discard Haldir. And now, okay, so if this deck engages a Savage Hillman, then it can't take damage because this deck has 3 cards in hand. But I have to engage both Savage Hillmen. This is the thing, I would kind of like to engage the Dunland Tribesman because I could actually kill it with Treebeard. Oh, well, it wouldn't have to be with Treebeard, but it could be. But I would potentially be a little short on defenses. I don't know. Okay, no. I think I can do this. And we're going to put the Hillmen this way around. The other advantage of engaging the Tribesmen is obviously more threat out of the staging area. So, yeah, I suppose that's the other thing. I could just chump with the Envoy. That would be an entirely valid option. Probably reasonable. I mean, I have another Envoy ready to go. I can get more attack power. I can get more willpower. So, okay, so the Envoy will defend against the Tribesmen. Assign X damage among characters you control. X is the number of cards in your hand. Okay. So, we'll go 1, 2, 3. Elrond... Oh, the Envoy is dead. Elrond will defend against the Hillman. Defending player discards an attachment he controls. Each attachment he controls instead of this attack is undefended. Well, there goes my Ent draft. But never mind. Elrond takes no damage from the defense. Baragon defends this. Deals a point of damage with the spear. No shadow effect. Now, Treebeard attacks the tribesman for 3, 4, 5, using his ability. And the tribesman is dead. The Galvan Archer attacks this hillman for 2. It's already got 2 damage. So, the hillman is dead. I only have 1 enemy in play, which currently cannot take damage. But things are looking pretty reasonable. Miravor is nice. Nath Guide is decent. Okay, so at this point, the Secret Vigil is not worth it right now. Maybe I just play the Nath Guide. And we say... Or I suppose I could instead just play the Errand Rider, because that could allow me to move a resource, and it means Balin saves a resource for possibly cancelling a shadow effect. So... And then here, it's very simple. I play an Envoy of Pelagir, add a resource to Eowyn, and then pay 2 for Unexpected Courage on Beregond. And now... Oh, and then I also exhaust the Errand Rider to move a resource from Beregond to Eowyn, and put Miravor on, let's say, Treebeard. Oh wait, hang on. Well, players can't gain resources from card effects. Does the Errand Rider count as gaining resources? This is a complicated thing. It's the bit of the FAQ that I am sure I have read more than any other part of the FAQ. Is the different things, because this is moving a resource. I think gaining is the one where gaining is only when the resources you have in total increases. So moving doesn't count. Moving a resource does involve adding a resource. I'm not sure. I don't... It's not that important for me to do it anyway. But... yeah, whatever. I'll leave it. There is 4 threat in the staging area. So we quest 2, 5, 9... 12. Oh, I should have removed a time counter. I'm going to gather information again. And we reveal Dunland Assassin. Okay. And Dunland Berserker. Okay. So that's added 5 threat to the staging area. So, as it stands, I'm making 3 progress, which would not even clear the location. Yeah, the assassin would be good for a secret vigil. I use King Under the Mountain. Right. Well, Build the Pony is better. Then I'm going to discard the Nath Guide to boost Eowyn. Whilst exploring the eastern shore. And still leave it at that, I think. I don't want to go to the Fords of Isen and have to draw those extra cards. So yeah, I guess I just have to leave it for the moment. Hmm. This is... So either deck can right now engage the Dunland Assassin. If I want to use the Secret Vigil on the Assassin, then I will have to eat an extra attack. But then I'm not entirely sure I could kill the Assassin anyway, so... So I'm sort of thinking, if I bring the Assassin here, then I ready Sam. I might just bring both enemies down on this side. Would that work? I guess if Baragond defended both, then Sam and the Galvan Archer would then be able to kill the Berserker. I just have to do something else with this Hillman. And I wouldn't have to kill my Errand Rider, which is something I was considering. I mean, I could still kill the Errand Rider. I think it's not the most ideal because this deck kind of has more combat capabilities, but I think I can make this... I can probably make this work. So yeah, let's do this. Discard an attachment you control. I'll just discard the Raven-Winged Helm. It's not that important. If I find another copy, it's free. So now, do I just kill my Errand Rider? I don't think I kill the Errand Rider because it's going to be difficult to muster enough attack to take down the Assassin, and the extra points of damage from Baragond and the spear will be handy. Oh yeah, it's only while he's in the staging area that he attacks whenever the first player draws cards, so that's handy. Now, given that I've been having questing difficulties, I'm not so keen on the idea of killing this envoy. I'm also not keen on taking this undefended, even if I do have Balin available. But I'm also not keen on the idea of leaving this guy alive. So... undefended. Okay, there we go. Sorry, that's wrong order. So 4 attack here with 1 damage already. Takes down the Berserker, and 4 attack here. Takes down the Hillman, leaving only the Dunland Assassin in play. Control N. Test of Will is kind of nice to see. Okay, so now the thing about whether or not I can use the Errand Rider is relevant, so I'm going to pause and check it. Alright, so yes, I checked. I need to remember to remove this time counter. I checked, and it is gaining is the blanket term, which includes collecting, adding, and moving. So moving a resource with the errand rider would count as causing the target to gain a resource, so I can't do it until I get this location out of the staging area, which I don't want to do until I'm okay to take the extra cards. And with that being the case, the one thing I would consider playing is this Miravor. But I want to have a test of will available, so the only way I could make that work would be if I put it on Eowyn and then discarded it before staging to, I guess, get +1 willpower and add a resource. And I mean, that might be reasonable, but part of the benefit of Miravor is its flexibility, and including the fact that it can be used for readying, which is why I kind of wanted to put it on Treebeard. So I think I just leave it. Now here, gonna put Bill the Pony into play and play the Secret Vigil onto the Dunland Assassin. So now there is 4 threat in the staging area. Once again, I want to go to gather information. So 2, 5, 8, 12. Hmm. 13. We're going to go for that 13. And we reveal Vengeful Hillman. After he attacks and destroys a character, remove 1 progress from the current quest for each card in the defending player's hand. And Donald Tribesman. Okay, so when revealed, each player draws a card. And he gets extra threat for those cards having been drawn. My threat is 37, so I do have to engage him. I've added 4 threat to the staging area. I make 5 progress, exploring gather information. So, if I want, then I could have this deck search for an Elrond's Council and reduce its threat so that I would not have to engage the tribesmen. That would make things simpler. On the other hand, I could grab Vilya or Imagine Stargazer to hopefully, find things more efficiently and help Vilya work properly. Or some healing would be really nice. But of course I only have the 2 defenses available. So on the other hand, this deck could pick out a feint. That would be one way of working with it, though. On the other hand, it could be nice to have Steward. Mainly Steward, I guess. And it's not as big a deal, so yeah. So yeah, I think this deck just grabs a feint. and shuffle. In which case, it's possibly less important for this deck to lower its threat. And I can instead go for... I mean, Villia's nice, but I might have to go for the healing. I don't know. In principle, I should draw into the healing soon enough. In practice, who knows? But let's be ambitious about it. Take Villia. So, okay. Now, of course, now if I travel to the Fords of Isen, this deck will not actually get to draw any cards. This deck will get to draw 2. That's okay. So let's see. This guy takes 6 to kill. This guy takes 5, so I should have... Well, I guess really I want them both on this side anyway. So the next question is... Oh, okay, yeah, let's also play Daeron's Runes. Draw 2, okay, so obviously I'm discarding a copy of Mirrorvore. Now, really, I guess the Warden of Healing was the main other thing that I wanted, so now I'm less bothered about the potential draw from the Fords of Isen, so I'm okay with... Otherwise, I might have considered discarding the Mirrorvore to Eowyn, even though the extra willpower wouldn't be relevant, just to draw an extra card. And you know, keep looking for useful stuff. But it is, I think that's fine. And let's travel to Fords of Isen. Now, if I want, I can use the Errand Rider. Must remember that. And this deck gets to draw 2 cards. Okay, cram and gather information. Very nice. And let's use King Under the Mountain. And discard the Envoy of Pelagia. Now, this deck is first player, so it's fine. It can use the optional engagement and the regular engagement. Well, the natural engagement will come here. And okay, so I'm using that feint. I suppose this guy's the highest attack. Well, they're both 4 attack. So no, let's feint this guy. And then Baragond defends against the tribesman. No shadow effect. That's nice. And he defends against the assassin. Okay. Oh yeah, I also have the Galvan Archer, who cannot actually damage the assassin by herself. So, because I was figuring, okay, so now I have 4 attack here, which can take out the tribesman without me needing to damage Treebeard. But on the other hand, in fact, I have 6 attack available, which can take out the Hillman, also without me needing to damage Treebeard. So I think it was still the right decision of which one to feint and which one to defend with Baragond. Yes, since this is out of the staging area, I can move resources, and I think I will do that. Move to Elrond, because I'm going to play Villia. Probably. I'll have to see how my priorities breakdown. Remove a time counter. It is getting a bit low. That is a concern. But it should be okay. Now, okay, so Raven-Winged Helm is free on Baragond. Gather Information is free just in general. Cram is free, so I should play it. And I'm going to move a resource from Sam to Baragond to play the Honor Guard. Yeah, I'm not totally decided on where I want this cram. I'm definitely going to play a Warden of Healing. And then... yeah, I probably do play Vilya. If I play Vilya, then that also means that Elrond has a spirit icon, so he can play a test of will if it's relevant. Play Ent Draft back onto Treebeard and play the Mirrorvore somewhere, I think. So let's see, there's only one threat in the staging area. This round I think I do want to go to the main quest just to be sure I get a decent amount of progress, because last round will have to be the last round I'm on this stage. And so obviously I will be travelling to the islet this round. So yeah, still can't necessarily put together the attack for this guy. I guess really I should just put the cram onto Baragond and the Mirrorvore possibly also onto Baragond, or you know, Treebeard or Elrond. So, okay, so let's see. There's one threat in the staging area. I can definitely quest for 4, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, actually, I think I'm actually going to put the Mirrorvore onto Balin. As weird as that seems. So, right, what willpower was I up to? 4, 6, 9. I definitely want more than that, so I guess I may be foregoing my potential Vilya, since I also want to get rid of this Dunland tribesman. So right, it's 4, 6, 9, 10, the discard to Eowyn, 13, and we reveal Wild Men of Dunland. Surge attached to the current quest. Condition attachment with the text. Forced after a player draws any number of cards, that player deals 1 damage to a character he controls. Well, it's a good thing that I've got that one of healing into play. Western Shore X is the number of cards in the first player's hand, which is 1. That's great. And Gap of Rohan. While it's in the staging area, each enemy gets -X engagement cost. Gap of Rohan, while it's in the staging area, download enemies get +1 attack. Okay, so that's just added 3 threat to the staging area. So I make 9 progress. 4 here. 5 here. I'm going to discard the Mirrorvor to ready Balin and give him +1 willpower. So I make the required 6 progress on fight at the Fords. So next round I can go to gather information and it'll be fine because I just need to clear the islet to gain control of Grima and have everything be okay. And now that the threat in the staging area doesn't matter, it's okay if I increase the number of cards in my hand by using King Under the Mountain. Another secret vigil. Yeah. 1 errand rider should hopefully be enough. Deals shadow cards. So Baragond defends, dealing a point of damage with the spear. No shadow. Baragond defends again, dealing a point of damage with the spear. Discard an attachment you control. Well, there goes the end draft yet again. Or, actually no, hang on. I'll Balin that. I don't think there are a lot of really bad shadow effects. So in fact I get to keep my end draft. So now I can attack for 1, 3, 4, dealing 1 damage. So the next defense from Baragond with the spear will kill the Dunland Assassin. And over here, Treebeard can take out the tribesman, heal Elrond and Treebeard, discard that shadow card, control N, remove a time counter, and after a player draws any number of cards, that player deals 1 damage to a character he controls. So I will deal 1 damage to Elrond, and I will deal 1 damage to the Honor Guard. And okay, I found another feint. So yeah, I guess this deck is just holding on to its cards. Secret Vigils are limit 1 per enemy. So no use for that. Over here I play Arwen. And I guess she'll be targeting Treebeard? So this deck is first player. So there's 4 threat in the staging area. I need to make 5 progress. Quest for 5, 6, 8, 12, 13. Well, really, I need to make 1 progress. I would like to make 5. So 13 could be reasonable. Yeah, it would be really nice right now to have a bit more readying available, but I'm gonna hope on this. 3 threat and 2 threat, so 5 threat. So I'm making 4 progress. If I discard to Eowyn again, then I can clear gather information. Am I really concerned about that? Is a question. I'm not sure that it's that important. So, although, I mean, on the other hand, also Elfhelm, not that big a deal. Ultimately. So, I'm going to use the Warden of Healing to heal Elrond and Eowyn and pay 2 law resources to ready him, and yeah, okay, I'm going to discard... yeah, okay. I will discard Elfhelm to Eowyn to boost my willpower by 1 so that I make 5. In fact, that also reduces the threat in the staging area because of the threat of the Western Shores, so I make 6 progress. And explore both of these. Take control of Grima. And I advance the quest because I control Grima and I have the progress. So, okay, that shouldn't do that, but whatever. And I'll resolve gather information after the quest advancement. After driving the wild men back from the islet, you are surprised to find King Theoden's personal advisor, Grima Wormtongue, among the men defending the fords. He tells you that he was on his way to Isengard when he was caught in the attack. Before he can say any more of his errand, the Dunlendings redouble their assault. "Save me!" Grima cries as he shrinks behind you. The life of the king's counsellor is in your hands. Each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for 1 different Dunland enemy and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. Time 2. Forced. After the last time counter is removed from this stage, each player assigns X damage among characters he controls, where X is the number of cards in his hand. Place 2 time counters on this stage. So... more enemies. Now, this is kind of why I put the cram on Beregond, because it means I can get an extra defense out of him when I'm swarmed with enemies like this. Oh, also, I have to flip this back because it shouldn't flip when you hit Control Q, but apparently it did. After the players advance to a new quest stage, each player with fewer than 3 cards in his hand draws 3 cards. I guess I should resolve the quest card first. It's not particularly relevant as to the sequence. But given that that's a... this is a messy thing of timing, but technically the quest advances as soon as I cleared the active location. Because that's when I took control of Grima. So I believe all of the stuff to do with quest advancement should happen before I resolve gather information. So, okay, let's see. Dunland Assassin would be a problem. I would not be able to optionally engage it. Dunland Chieftain would be problematic. Vengeful Hillman. more reasonable. And that's possibly the worst shadow effect I could get. In fact, there aren't a lot of shadow effects in here. Though that's a pretty bad one. Yeah, okay, so maybe I take the Vengeful Hillman, and then I look in the discard pile for something. Now, I've got Gather Information going off, so I could grab an Elrond's Council, and this deck could drop its threat down to 36. Say, if I wanted to grab a Dunland Tribesman, that would work. On the other hand, I could take Savage Hillman, say, because it's the weaker side, though then I would yeah, I might have the issue of not being able to kill the Savage Hillman. But yeah, no, that I think I can probably work with that. So let's go with these. And I must remember to shuffle the encounter deck. And forced effect, after the player's advance to a new quest stage, each player with fewer than 3 cards in his hand draws... Oh, it's just draws 3 cards, not draws up to 3 cards in hand. Draw 3. Does anything happen? Nothing happens with these when I draw cards. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now I resolve Gather Information. Okay, so Imladris Stargazer was what I was going to go looking for, but now I guess I'll take Scout Ahead. And shuffle. And over here. Now Steward of Gondor, maybe. Yeah. Let's take Steward of Gondor. Okay, so I have a lot of cards. I think I kind of have to travel here because I want to be able to play more than one event, I think, because that's one way that I'm going to reduce the number of cards in my hands. So now that I've travelled there, I can play Wealth of Gondor and add a resource to Beregond, and I will also still be able to play the Feint later on. And over here, I am going to play the... Well, it does matter if the Savage Hillman engages this deck, so I should figure out how I'm doing my engagements. Because I have options, obviously. There's no way I'll be able to ready Sam. Beregond can defend 3 times and I have a Feint. Though I don't have to use the Feint or the Cram, necessarily. I could have Grima defend one of these 2 attack enemies, and he should be absolutely fine. Because of course I've seen what the shadow effect left in the deck are. There were some +1 attacks. This is the only +2 attack, and I pulled it out, and even that wouldn't kill him. Or there was, if you have too many cards in your hand, this is considered undefended. So I guess maybe just on the off chance I get that, I will just play the Elrond's Council now. Oh, but there'd be 3 attack. Okay, so actually, if I'm not using the feint, then I can go here instead. And that should be okay. So, this deck has less available attack. So, I want more enemies over here and tougher enemies over here. But if... So I guess... Well, no, because the Berserker, if it's not immediately... Yeah, okay, so I think I have to do it like this. So this deck makes the optional engagement of the Vengeful Hillman, and then the Dunland Berserker naturally engages here, and the Savage Hillman naturally engages here. Which means the Savage Hillman will have his +2 attack, because since I did not travel to the Eastern Shore, I cannot play another event this round. And I have 5 cards in my hand, so he has +2 attack. But I think this is okay, because like if I swapped round the Berserker and the Hillman, then the Berserker would still be in play when the engaged player drew cards and would make an immediate attack, and I think that would be worse. So, as I said, Grima is going to defend against the Berserker. Defending player discards an attachment he controls. Let's Balin. +1 attack? Sure. I guess Baragon really has to do both of these. I could expend the Cram. Yeah, okay, so let's use the Cram. Damage from the Spear. It's fine. Damage from the Spear kills the Dunland Assassin. And I trigger the Secret Vigil. Both decks lower their threat by 3. And Baragon defend. Oh no, the Hillman can't take damage because I have 3 or more cards in my hand. If you have 5 or more... Oh! Yes, I do have 5 or more cards in my hand, so that would make this undefended. So let's Balin. And it is Balin's to no shadow effect. Yeah, if that shadow effect had gone through, I could have dealt with it, even though it's 4 attack, because I could just put it on Baragon, cancel a point of damage with the Raven-Winged Helm, cancel a point of damage with the Honor Guard, and then just heal it up. But better that I didn't have to. So I'm debating whether to use King Under the Mountain at this point, because I'm going to be able to play a reasonable amount of stuff, but I think it's probably safer not. So I definitely want to get rid of this Berserker so he doesn't make extra attacks, and that's fine. It takes 5. Okay, so here's the thing. Do I want to get in a Villiers? Do I want to kill this vengeful hillman? Of course, if I leave the hillman where he is, I could put a secret vigil on him, but it means increasing my combat load, and I mean, threat's looking reasonable, so maybe I save the secret vigil for another occasion and just clear these enemies so that I don't get overwhelmed. Okay, so 3 attack here, 2 attack here, 1 attack here, 2 attack here. Takes 5 to kill either of these. I think that's probably better, as much as I want to be doing the Villiers. I mean, I've got Stargazer in hand, so I can get it set up, and Light of Valinor. So 2, 3, 5. Take out this guy, and 3, 4, 5. Take out this guy. One of Healing heals Treebeard and Grima. Discard those shadow cards. Grima crosses the table. Remove a time counter. Control N. Okay. So, first up, obviously, I'm putting Steward of Gondor onto Balin. And yeah, okay, whatever. I'm just going to play the Gallon Archer for the attack. Play Envoy of Pelargir, add a resource to Elrond. I want to keep a resource for a feint. That's fine. Over here, scout ahead, it's free. I want Light of Valinor on Elrond. And I'm going to transfer another resource over so that I can play Imladris Stargazer and still have a resource for a Test of Will. So, this deck is the first player, so I'm going to discard to Eowyn as soon as we're in the quest phase. So there's 5 threat in the staging area. And quest for 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 11, 15, plus the discard 16. I'm going to go to the main quest first, because I figure it's going to take at least 2 goes to get through this. So basically what I want to do is quest to the main, ideally is quest to the main quest, then next round do scout ahead and stack the encounter deck, and then complete the main quest in advance. And having stacked the encounter deck, things will be a bit easier, I guess, is the theory. Also, we might run out the encounter deck, and after things have been reshuffled is potentially a better time for scout ahead. So... Oh yeah, Elrond doesn't exhaust a quest. So 19. That should be fine. And we reveal... Okay, Old Hatred's Surge attached to the current quest cancels a condition attachment with the text. Forced after a player draws any number of cards, raises threat by 1. This is why I have Ally Elfhelm. It would be really nice if I could get him into play. And... I mean, I could cancel it, but... I don't know, at this point maybe I should just cancel this. Yeah. Surge. Dunland Chieftain. And another Dunland Chieftain. Well, they are good targets for secret vigils. That's added 6 threat to the staging area. I make 8 progress. So 3 here. 5 here. Oh yeah, no. This deck is the first player, so I did not reduce the threat of the Western Shore by playing that Test of Will. I should go to the Eastern Shore in case I get more events I want to play. Now, I definitely want to engage one of these Dunland Chieftains, and yes, okay, that's basically it. I engage one Dunland Chieftain because I want this deck to engage it, and I'm not actually at the engagement cost at this point, so I don't want this deck to engage one. So, after he engages a player, discard X cards from the top of the encounter deck, where X is the number of cards in the engaged player's hand, which is 1. Put the topmost Dunland enemy discarded this way into play engaged with that player. It's a treachery, not an enemy, so that is all fine. Deals shadow cards. Baragond defends. And of course I have only 2 cards in my hand now, so the Savage Helm can take damage. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, I do not. And Baragond also defends this. He gets +1 attack. That puts him up to 6, which is still just fine. Takes 8 to kill this. Okay, so I'm definitely going to do 4. Take down this guy, and then I can use King of the Mountain, another Secret Vigil, and a Cram. I guess I will keep the Secret Vigil. So, yeah, it takes 8 to kill this guy at this point. 3, 4, plus damage on Treebeard. Use the Imladris Stargazer. Okay, let's have Elfhelm, since I was just talking about him. And then I want to draw into the Unexpected Courage, and then Vilya Gildor, and then draw into the Handmaiden, and Vilya Gandalf. Cool. And so now, of course, I have Vilya in Elfhelm, who has the same amount of attack that Gandalf does. So it's just more efficient all around. So 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I heal the damage from Treebeard and the Honor Guard. And I take out this guy. Oh. Since I've got the 2 Secret Vigils in my hand, I hold back the... Well, no. Yes, in fact, I hold back the Envoy. Either way, I could hold back the Envoy or deal 1 less damage to Treebeard. Leave him with 1 hit point remaining, so Baragond can just poke him with the spear. Move all these characters a bit further over this way. And of course at the end of the round, the time counter is removed. Each player assigns X damage among characters he controls, where X is the number of cards in his hand. And I place another time counter. So for this deck, that's going to be 1 damage. So I will put it on Elf Helm. And for this deck, it's 3 damage. So I'll put 2 on the Honor Guard and 1 on Bill. And Control N into the new round. So yes, there's that Unexpected Courage, which I will play onto Treebeard. So if I save him for combat, he can attack twice, or if I want, he can quest and still be ready for combat. I'm going to be Villiering in Gildor. Okay. Exhaust Steward. Play both Secret Vigils onto these guys. No, I'm still not going to King of the Mountain yet. Just, there are effects which could cause me to draw a card, and I want this deck to stay with less than 3 cards in hand, if at all possible. So, yeah, I think maybe now I go to Scout Ahead. Yeah, I'm going to go to Scout Ahead. There is threat is reduced by 1 by the Secret Vigil, so there is 3 threat in the staging area. Oh, right, yeah, I need to move a resource with the Errand Rider to Elrond in case I need that test of will. Or want the test of will, anyway. 2, 5, 9, 11, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19. Should be very good. Isen River. While it's in the staging area, each player cannot discard cards from his hand, which is why I discard preemptively all the time. And after Isen River becomes the active location, each player draws a card. Okay. And Ill Tidings. The first player draws this card into his hand. Ill Tidings cannot leave that player's hand. Then if the first player has 5 or more cards in his hand, Ill Tidings gains Surge. Let's not. I mean, I could kind of deal with it. I didn't have a lot of cards, but still, let's just not. So, that's up to 5 threat in the staging area, and of course, the encounter deck has now reshuffled. Although, this is a thing with the timing. Do you technically resolve the card first and then reshuffle? Because I'm pretty sure Octagon does it wrong. It reshuffles immediately. But I think technically you're supposed to resolve the card that you're revealing and then reshuffle. Unless you would need there to be cards in the encounter deck in order to resolve the card. So I think this should be in the encounter deck right now. That's my recollection of it. I'm not going to check this one. I'm pretty confident. Mostly because I remember being aware that Octagon didn't do it right. Okay, so anyway, I make 14 progress. So 4 here, 4 here and 6 spare. And I resolve scout ahead, so take a look at the top 6 cards of the encounter deck, since I have 2 players in the game. 4 plus 2 is 6. And choose something to add to... I guess I'll add a Savage Hillman to the victory display because they surge, and that's annoying. The locations are not that big a problem. Getting swarmed by enemies could be more of a problem. So shadow effects are not an issue here. I don't want to have the surge, so this guy should be a shadow effect. And restricting the number of events I can play is annoying. So I could have that as a shadow effect. And then have Western Shore Fords of Isen. No additional enemies next round, because I will get enemies when I advance the quest. Seems reasonable. And oh no, wait, when I engage the Dunland Chieftain, well, if I have no cards in my hand, then the Dunland Chieftain doesn't do anything, so that would only apply if I travel to the Isen River, because that would cause me to draw cards. If I instead go to the Western Shore... Okay, so I just realised I made a mistake. While Western Shore is in the staging area, each enemy gets minus X engagement cost. So this guy had his engagement cost reduced, and he should have engaged me last round. That's difficult to unpick. Actually, no, it's not that difficult to unpick. If I just say that I travelled here, because I haven't played any extra events, so this wasn't actually a problem. They have the same quest points. This has more threat, but I overquested by quite a bit. So that is the easiest way to get me to a legal position, because it doesn't involve in resolving retroactive attacks from enemies when I can't remember if I had like actions spare or yeah. So now I'll just engage this guy. King of the Mountain seems a reasonable idea. Ooh. I don't really need the attack boost. Faramir is good to have. So I know that these shadow effects are going to be fine. And also, yeah, okay, so first Dunland Chieftain is destroyed by the Spear of the Citadel, and I trigger the Secret Vigil to lower both decks' threat by 3. I exhaust Elrond and Villiers. Another reason for me to have not gone to the Isen River. It would have messed up my Stargazed deck. Baragond defends the second. +1 attack is not a problem. Treebeard attacks for 3, 5, 7, 8, 12. Yeah, it's all good. And more threat lowering. I will exhaust the Warden of Healing to heal the Honor Guard and build a pony. And since this deck is still reasonably stacked, I will use the Imladris Stargazer on this deck. I suppose I could have done that before using King of the Mountain, but I didn't think about it. So that's pointless. Yeah, there's not much that is of any significance at this point. Envoy of Pelargir is fine. I mean, maybe do that. Grima crosses the table. Control N. I remove a time counter. So, okay. Yep. Right. Steward. So I'm definitely going to play Faramir. And also I'm going to play an Envoy. And add the resource back to Elrond. And that's fine. And over here I will play Gladriel's Handmaiden and drop this deck's threat by 1. And that's all good. So the threat in the staging area is currently 2. I'm going to reveal another 4, I think it was. So there we go, 6 threat in the staging area, I'm pretty sure. And so to advance the quest, I need to get 13 progress. So I definitely quest 4, 6, 8, 11, 13 progress, so I need to be questing for a total of 19. So 4, 6, 8, 11. 13, 15, 18, 19. Assuming I'm right about... If I've misremembered the amount of threat I'm about to reveal, then technically I should know it, but yeah, so that's 1, because this deck has 1 card in its hand, and yep, it is a 3 threat location. So I was right, total of 6 threat in the staging area. And I make 13 progress. 4 here and 9 here. And I advance. Yeah, that's really annoying. Oh, but after staging, before quest resolution, I use Vilya to put Gandalf into play and drop my threat by 5. And then we advance the quest. The Dunlending's assault is relentless, and your arms grow weary. Take me to Isengard, Grima pleads, but you will not abandon the defense. You will either break the will of the enemy or give your life in a heroic last stand. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a different Dunland enemy and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. So, That's not supposed to be in the quest deck. Okay. So I should probably remember to mention that to C-Stan so he can fix it. I mean, at this point I can deal with anything, so it's really not that big a deal. But advancing the quest will cause me to draw more cards. So that is something to take into consideration. I mean, yeah, let's take a... Well, no, let's... Yeah, get the Surge out, because Surge is annoying. And that when revealed is not actually that big a problem anymore, so then, yeah, I will take... oh, no, because I'm going to draw cards, so I wouldn't be able to optionally engage it. So yeah, I will take Tribesman. Should be fine. And okay, time 3. Forced after the last time counter is removed from this stage, discard the top X cards of the encounter deck. X is the number of cards in the first player's hand. Add each enemy discarded this way to the staging area. Put 3 time counters on this stage. While there's at least one enemy in play, the players can't defeat this stage. If the players defeat this stage, they win the game. And having advanced, each player with less than 3 cards draws 3 cards. So, draw 3 cards. Okay, and draw 3 cards. Okay. So, travel here so that I can discard cards. And I guess I will engage the enemies this way around. Already Sam. This deck will just play the Elrond's Council to reduce threat and get down to only 2 cards in hand. Over here, the number of cards in my hand doesn't actually matter, so I could get that shadow effect, I suppose. So Baragon defends. That's fine. Baragon defends. And that's fine. I can use King Under the Mountain. And discard Bill. Now it's only going to take 4 attack for this, so that's pretty easy. I have only 1 point of damage on the board on Elfhelm, so I will heal that and attack for a lot. Take down the Hillman and then use the Stargazer. Top 5, okay. I'm pretty much expecting to just quest a victory, so I suppose I should draw Elrond's Council and Vilya Handmaiden. And that'd be the way to go. Gandalf is discarded at the end of the round. I remove a time counter. Grima is over here. Control N. And here we go. And over here. Exhaust Steward. Okay, so let's play this Unexpected Courage onto... I guess at this point it really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to do Baragon again. And over here I will play an additional Honor Guard and play a Nath Guide and say that Treebeard doesn't exhaust quest this round, and I'll play a Dunedain Mark onto Treebeard. And that's all fine. Once we're in the quest phase, I play Elrond's Council and discard to Eowyn with both decks. And commit to the quest. 2, 5, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14 with the Elrond's Council, 16, 19, 21, 23, 26, 29, 30. 30 sounds like some pretty decent willpower. And I'll just do my Vilya now. Handmaiden, drop this deck's threat by 1. So, 30 against 6, and we reveal Vengeful Hillman and a Dunland Tribesman, which causes both players to draw cards. A card. Okay, so that's 4 threat added. So I'm making 20 progress, which is not quite enough, but I can exhaust Faramir to get a lot more willpower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 27 progress, 5 here. 22 here. There we go. And oh yeah, the threat in the staging area went up by 1 because of me being forced to draw cards, so take away 1 of those progress. Let's just travel to the western shore. Oh, Fords of Isen was already there, so I could not have used Steward of Gondor. It's fine. Actually, the number of cards in my hands doesn't really matter right now, so I will travel to the Fords of Isen so that I can now use Steward of Gondor and Errand Rider. Each player with fewer than 5 cards draws until he has 5. And 1, 2. Okay, so I'm going to play Wealth of Gondor. And I'm going to exhaust Errand Rider to move a resource. So now I have enough progress here, it's just that while there's at least one enemy in play, the players cannot defeat this stage. So I just need to kill the enemies, which I should be able to do very easily. Deal shadow cards. Play my 2 feints, because why not? And then, okay, takes 6 to kill this. So 2, 3, 6. Takes 5 to kill this. Baragon has 1 attack, so 1, 5. That was obviously not what I meant to do. Deselect the Guard archers before deleting the enemy. And there we go. Now there are no enemies in play, so I can defeat this stage, and I have enough progress, so I have defeated this stage, so I have won the game with a pretty reasonable score. So that worked out very nicely. You know, it's the aggro. This quest does definitely push you towards a kind of aggro playstyle, where you want to have high-powered heroes and just be ready to go strong out the gate. And obviously there's the whole hand size thing, but as you see, you can deal with that by loading up on lots of effects that allow you to discard cards from your hand. And if I had a larger card pool, then I certainly would have considered Noldor decks. But since this Nightmare pack was released just after Wastes of Eriador, that wasn't an option. Most of the Noldor stuff hadn't been released yet, so I had nothing more than I did when I did the non-Nightmare version of this quest. Just Protector of Lorien and Trollshaw Scout and Watcher of the Bruinen. But on the other hand, just Eowyn is enough for you to chuck a few cards, and you just make sure that your decks run efficiently, have a bunch of low-cost cards, and then just try to compensate for the fact that you're avoiding card draw. You know, King Under the Mountain is nice because it doesn't trigger anything that triggers when you draw cards, but it still allows you to get that one extra card. Villia, just letting you put things into play without needing to draw them into your hand. Plus it's just really powerful. Baragond, the discount on his attachments makes it very easy to quickly empty your hand. So this all worked out very nicely. If you enjoyed this, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.